The response to yesterday's story has been overwhelming, the one where we tracked down this 2-year-old chain smoker from Indonesia and spoke with his parents. One typical comment on CBSNews.com, quote, "The picture of this kid smoking is deeply disturbing." On our Facebook page, one woman wrote, it's disgusting to know they let him smoke. I have a 2-year-old grandson, and I just can't grasp the idea of a baby smoking." So many people feeling that way. There was also this, maybe the reason the child throws tantrums if he's denied his cigarettes is caused by the withdrawal from nicotine that he was bombarded with prior to his birth. Now, we should point out that we don't know whether or not his mother smoked, and we don't know whether or not she may have smoked while she was pregnant with him. So we don't know what that situation may have been. We do want to bring in now child and adolescent psychologist Dr. Jennifer Hartstein, who's an early show contributor. Good to have you with us.
Good morning.
One thing we do know is that the mother said to us yesterday, and we had this on camera, she said, and I'm quoting here, she said, "She can't stand seeing him hurt himself. What can we do, though, but accept what it is?" I mean, those are two sort of contradictory statements. But if you're a parent, obviously you don't want to see your child hurt themselves. But just because they're really upset when you try to take away cigarettes is no reason to not try to deal with these tantrums that we all face as parents.
Exactly, and tantruming is a developmental process. So anytime you take something away from a little child, they're going to tantrum. Safety is first, so if he's tantruming, he's going through withdrawal probably, and you're taking away what he wants. And she was saying that he's banging his head and hurting himself. So put something under his head, but you still can't give him something back that's really harming him.
And in terms of dealing though with those tantrums, and what else can you do as a parent to not only get your child through it, but to get you through it too, because it is exhausting.
It is exhausting, and if it's in public, it's embarrassing. So there's some really important things to stop and do. As a parent, if you get angry in reaction to your child's tantrum, it's really only going to make things worse. So if you can take a breath and remove them and you from the situation, that's really helpful. And you also want to be really consistent with your child. You want to start there and really set the rules. Make sure they know what to expect. Start with that. The more consistent you are, the better. You then really want to plan ahead. Kids get tantrumy when they are tired, when they are hungry, when they're bored. So bring a treat, bring a snack, bring a something if you're running errands. Do errands in the morning to avoid being tired. We want to make sure we do that.
Also, I know it's hard at this age because he's only 2, but encourage them to use their words, right, and communicate, because that's sometimes why they get upset. They just can't tell you what they need.
It's a time of language development. So 2-year-olds are learning how to talk, and they're going to be frustrated. Think about yourself. If you're doing something that you can't figure out, you get frustrated. He's going to too.
Also, I know you recommend praising good behavior, give them choices, and distraction, which I always thought was a terrible parenting tactic. I realize it's the best thing in the world.
It's terrific. Something that you can do to change track is great.
Well, talk to us about a situation like this, though, specifically. When you have a 2-year-old ingesting this much nicotine, A, what does it do to them? And B, how does that set them up for later in life? Are they going to be further addicted to things?
Well, it's a good question. And I think we saw yesterday that, developmentally, his lungs are still developing. It's going to really be a hard sell to say, oh, you're really healthy, when your lungs aren't going to develop because they're filled with smoke. So and we know secondhand smoke in our country is really a big deal. So we want to think about that. For adolescents, starting then leads to addiction in adulthood. It's harder to stop later.
And it's rough on the whole family, too.
Absolutely.
All right, a lot to think about. And those images, it's hard when you see them.
It is really disturbing, absolutely.
To stop thinking about them. Dr. Jennifer Hartstein, thanks for being with us. And thanks to all of you who sent in your comments, because we always appreciate them here on The Early Show.
A lot happens early on The Early Show, weekday mornings on CBS.